Some of the 2017 numbers that we saw from the Division of Travel and Tourism and from the DGE. Visitation is up 2.3%. Tourism industry generated $45.4 billion in economic impact, up 2.9%, all positives thus far. Lodging accounts for about 28% of visitor spending. Average occupancies are up, which means despite the number of rooms available going up, occupancy is going up. That's a good thing. Atlantic City casinos finished 2017 on a positive 2.2%. Fantastic results. Those are what have been published. How did the local tourism industry do? And I know some of you were on the panel last year with us. So give me a feel, give the audience a feel of what you thought that the predictions were and how it really played out.
I'll touch on Tropicana. We are coming off a great 2017. Of course, there's a gaming revenue, but what's more passionate, that we're all passionate about here, is the retail, the entertainment, the dining, the lodging. And every one of our measurements were up year over year. You know, we kind of look at the summer season as Memorial Day to Labor Day, as many of you do. But just zeroing down on July and August, last July we ran 97.3% occupancy, and in August it was 98.0%. So that's with over 2,300 rooms. You love that length of stay because to get 1,800 checkouts and 1,800 check-ins can be a little operationally challenging. But our emphasis has been improving the customer experience. So that's with, again, new and improved rooms and new restaurants. So that we're continuing the path in 2018 for that as well.
One of the things that we have been really successful with is weddings. And so we saw a really strong year in 16-17, which is our fiscal year in weddings. And the nice thing is it's waterproof. So if it rains, the wedding is still going to happen. And so we know what our capture rate will be, and then we kind of can layer and plan on top of that. So it was really good in that respect. What we did see on the occupancy standpoint is traditionally we would fill on any given weekend, we'd be full 2 weeks prior, and the window was much shorter now. So where we were full 2 weeks prior, now it's 3 days. And so that window is closed. And then finally, the length of stay is down to about 1.5 nights here. So we'd like to extend that a little further. We can't put our finger on it yet, but could be partially weather-driven. The weddings contribute to that as well because most of the weddings are just a one-night stay. So those were the dynamics. And finally, we did still maintain pricing power. So we were able to drive rate in all seasons. And so that's kind of the overall for last year that we saw.
There were a couple of exceptions throughout the state. Certainly Atlantic County was one of them. You know, some declines, marginal declines, 2.6%, I think, in lodging revenue, less lodging revenue last year. Of course, that's going to turn around this year with the opening of the new casinos. The total revenue should almost assuredly be up. The only other exceptions throughout the state to the positive news that we saw was really not all that negative. There were a few towns along the Delaware River, a few counties, that had seen such exceptional performance the prior 2 years. 2016 with the Democratic National Convention, and the prior year with the Pope, that inevitably they were going to be a little bit down the following year. I remember speaking with one hotel owner up in Cherry Hill, and he told me corporate just doesn't understand. The Pope doesn't come around every year.
In Cape May County, we have predicted, and we've always had a steady incline since records were first done with the Division of Travel and Tourism in 1994. Our tourism revenue was $2 billion, and at the time people would say, billion with a B, because it was just a whole number that we didn't even think was happening in the tourism industry. We're now $6.7 billion industry, so fast forward 23 years, we're doing very well. And we experienced a moderate increase. Why? Same as Brian said, was we had a 5% increase last year, and now we have a 1.4. And but it's all positive. And where we saw our most growth was in food and beverage, and we were up in lodging. And we actually, when we do the counts, and I count everything, and some people say if you stand still too long in Gateway County, I'll count you, and that might be true. But we had more cars coming in through the Garden State Parkway, which is a barometer we use. So through the Great Egg Toll Plaza and the Cape May Toll Plaza, we saw about 88,000 more cars, but we didn't see them in the summer. And what was happening is July was a terrible month. The rain, just driving home that point that we're so weather driven and weather dependent. We had 12 days of either rain or overcast. The rain impacted the recreation and outdoor activities, which we're so dependent on. In Cape May County, we still rank the highest in generating recreation and outdoor revenue. We were down less than 1%, which was $6.6 million. So the rain certainly had a major impact on that. But when we look at it and we kind of dissect what's happening, we've been doing a really intensive fall campaign for about 5 years, bringing people back. And, we think it's the best time to be in Cape May County or to be in the entire region. The weather is still great, but we needed to make sure that our visitors who primarily think there's nothing to do after the summer, that we had to let them know that there is plenty to do. And what did we tie in? We tied in our beverage tourism. We have 7 wineries, we have 10 breweries and 3 distilleries. While they are not making a huge impact in the food and beverage, we look at them as our attractions and as a hook to bring people back and give them something to do. And we did a agritourism survey focusing on the wineries, breweries, and distilleries that helped guide us. And while we all thought that the breweries and distilleries, wineries were a millennial attraction, we found out that 55% of our visitors are still baby boomers. So, we were able to target using our research and spread the tourism season and allow us to still experience a moderate increase in tourism revenue in all of our sectors but recreation. And basically, we're going to continue on that to see, that this is a good place, this whole destination, with the gaming as well. We're giving people a lot of opportunities to come back in the fall and the winter and increase the visitation and visitor spending.
17 was a good, very, very good year in the group market. It's a segment that we've been building on since the formation of Meet AC in the summer of 2014. And so it's really interesting what we do. We're long-range bookers. So we're selling Atlantic City up to 7 years out. And when we started in 2014, we were really very much a year to 18-month out destination in terms of convention sales. So we tweaked some strategies, made some adjustments, and right now I can tell you that we've got business on the books booked through 2025. And so we're really starting to see that growth, and that's what we're trying to do is layer business, book more business, and we've also been able to drive more business into the summer months. Last year was a very, very good year for us from a room night standpoint, from a booking standpoint, and just over 3.5 years now, we've booked just over 1 million room nights in the convention market. And so this is what these guys would call cash rooms. They like cash rooms to augment their gaming customer. And we are funded by the CRDA. So from a analysis standpoint, for every $1 we receive from the luxury tax, we're now returning $48 back to the local economy. So we have a very, very good ROI. It's strong in the group market. We've also saw, and most of you know this, there's been a lot of investment by the properties to go after the group customer. We saw the addition of what happened at Harris with their Waterfront Conference Center, resorts, the Claridge, other properties have upgraded, the Borgata's added meeting space. So everybody's very, very bullish on the meeting space, and every property has reported back to us in 2017 that they've had growth in the meetings market. So we will continue to do what we do. It's a market segment that is growing, but incrementally. We do have a few barriers here in Atlantic City, but we continue to work through those barriers regardless of the obstacles that we have. And we still see the group market to be a very, very flourishing, prosperous market for AC for years to come.
Thank you, Jim. That's good news indeed for 17. We just got to make sure that all those customers we booked 7 years ago know about the wheel that's coming up.